Hello and welcome to a review by Tech Ninja. Um, I wanted to start out with a factor that I am going to be reading by a script that I wrote on my Bluetooth headphones. The Dylan 991 Bluetooth, I think it's 4.0 headset. I have made some discoveries. I have done a couple of other things with them to test them. So let's get into it. First off, let me read what I wrote. And I'll discuss it as I go as well, so that way it's not too terribly boring, and I may make other key facts as I go. So I'm one of those people that don't like to hold my phone. It's very true. I hate holding my phone if I don't have to. So I like using my Bluetooth headphones to do a lot of different things, like listening to music, listening to YouTube videos, talking to people, stuff like that. Hence, I love using Bluetooth accessories. They make my life easier. My car's got Bluetooth in it from an aftermarket DAC. My wife's got a Bluetooth dongle in her car that we connect to listen to music, so we don't have to use an aux cable. Stuff like that. I had bought this Bluetooth roughly a couple months back. I don't remember exactly how long, but it was long enough back that I don't remember now. These are the Dylan 991 Bluetooth headphones, and I use them almost every single day. I take them to work with me, use them at work when I'm on my phone. I plan on buying a dongle, Bluetooth dongle for my computer, possibly at work, for when I want to use that. And yeah. Now, I'm also a stickler for devices that don't suck. If these things sucked, I probably would have sent them back, because I don't like devices that suck. I don't like to have to mess around with my devices. I just like them to work the way they're supposed to when I get them. If they don't, and they're too tedious to figure out, too complex or anything like that, if I can't figure out within half an hour to an hour, I usually give up and send them back or whatever, because nobody likes complicated devices. Now with this Dylan headset, I found it easy to operate, and I not entirely love the form factor, but it works. The last ones that I had, they were like more soft rubber. I'm not trying to complain. They were still fantastic, and they had great earbuds, but I just didn't like how they just felt like jiggly, like bags of water, like strung across your head, to where they would just be like this, and if you're moving around, they'll just be like this, and it wasn't like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I liked them, but I wanted something that was more easy to fold up, for instance. That way I didn't have to worry about like setting them down and taking up a lot of space. I can just fold them up, and they take up a little less space, which was kind of nice. The hard plastic shell on this one is a little bit of a drawback, because like if I'm driving my wife's car, or my car for instance, for some reason the headphones will migrate this way, and I have to constantly push them back, and then they'll just, it's kind of annoying, but I deal with it because I like these things. They work really well, and I haven't had too much of an issue with that. It's only mostly when I'm driving. Like if I'm laying down with them, I've noticed that when I get up, they're not on me because they're on the ground. Well, I mean, centrifugal force, it's gonna fall off your head, or off your neck for that matter, by laying down with them. And my screen just went to sleep. Oh, there we go. Although it is not highly annoying, it still makes me wonder about the design of these because of what I just mentioned. But the major thing that I thought about was not just design, but functionality. So with all that set aside that I just mentioned, functionality is a key thing when it comes to a device. If they don't function correctly, or they just don't do what they're supposed to do, well, then they suck. And that's one of the things that I wanted to also talk about. Was on the plus side, these are very easy to turn on and off. There's a little on-off switch right here that you can turn off and turn on. It's a toggle switch versus like a press button where you press it and wait for it to turn on. This one, you just flick the switch, they turn on, they vibrate when they turn on, which is nice. Although, in my opinion, a slight battery killer, because if you turn them on and off a lot a day, like I do sometimes, it can wear the battery out because you're turning it on and off so much that it's vibrating when you every time you turn it on. I think that they could have just stuck with like connected or on or something like that when you have your earpiece in and it just tells you, hey, it's on. I think that would have been a lot less power, but I'm not the designer of them. That's just a thought. The volume rockers over here. One thing I did note while I was testing these is there is no next or previous buttons on either side. I found this out actually while I was writing my review on this, was if you're in a song and you want to turn up the volume on the device itself, you got to hit and hold the button versus having an independent one that turns it up and down. If you just, like, if you're in a song and you just hit the button, it goes to the next track, or if you accidentally hit the other button, it will either repeat that track or go to the previous track. You have to hit and hold it for the volume to go up and down on either side. I found that to be interesting, but they need to label it, in my opinion, to be able to state that it does that. Let's see here. The earbuds themselves oh wait, no, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So that's the volume rockers. No, I take that back, I'm not jumping ahead of myself. The microphone and the earpiece on this thing, so they're not bad. They're people can hear you just fine, usually, I believe. Well, I would hope they could. I haven't had any complaints of like, oh, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. The mic seems to work pretty great. On the other hand, I didn't know if it was my hearing or the earbuds. It could be my hearing, but I'm not positive if it's the design of the driver on these things or not, but it can sound particularly a little muffled when you're talking to people. Not sure why, but it's slightly annoying and it's able to be gotten past, but it still works, so I don't have too much complaint on there. I mean, it can make and receive the phone calls, you can talk, you can hear them for the most part. It just sounds like they've got a little bit of a fine cloth mesh over their microphone or something like that as they're talking to you, and it's just fairly hard to hear, like that bit of a muffle. Like I said, it might just be me being picky, I don't know, but that's just the way I feel about it. The earpieces on this are fantastic, I think, for music. And on that note, I don't mean anything with a tremendous amount of bass, because these are earbuds. These are not designed for bass. These are designed for basic music, not high-powered like bass to where you want to throb your ears like crazy and be able to hear it hitting the eardrum, stuff like that. It's not designed for that. Purely traditional listening of music. So if you're looking for it for bass, not going to happen. Totally out of the realm of these types of headphones. Let's see. The earbuds themselves, one of the main reasons that I had bought these was because of the factor my daughter on the old ones had nag, because on my other ones they were like this up here, and you pick them up and you put them into your ear, but she would tug on this and I was afraid she was going to rip the wire out, so that's why I got retractable ones. That way they stay safe from the daughter, even though now she's kind of learned how to pull them out, and I just retract them right back in before she plays with them, which is fine. I would rather that than her pull on it and rip out the wire. I have a nag with my fingers of holding this so it doesn't retract too quickly. That way I can let it in gently, because I'm like afraid, like when I let it go quickly, that it's gonna like rip the wire off when it goes in. And I'm gonna be like, ah, no. But I've done it numerous times, and it doesn't necessarily get into the retraction area very well when it goes quickly. So I just have a nag for holding the wire gently and letting it go back up in there and letting it chill. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, they work great, and I've got absolutely no problem with them. aside from the minor setbacks I told you about. And your hearing could be different than mine. It may not sound like muffled talking at all. They go right over the neck like that, and when you put them in, they work really, really well. However, I will state that they are not the best at noise cancellation, and if you're going to go running or anything like that, I never tested that, so I couldn't tell you if they would fall out while you're running or not, but I have ran in like my workplace trying to get from place to place in a quick manner, and I usually like hold these down just a little bit as I'm running because otherwise they bounce on the neck and it's kind of annoying, but they won't fall off from what I can tell. But yeah, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer as they come in. And if you have any other questions about them, then hit me up, let me know. Again, this is a review by Tech Ninja, and we'll talk to y'all soon.